Good evening, friends. I'm Cynthia McBride, the Senior Minister of First Christian Church in Portland, Oregon. It's Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. If this were pre-pandemic times and we were operating on the normal church calendar, today would be the day that the so-and-so's group would meet. They meet once a month on a Tuesday at the church, a group of women who gather in Fellowship Hall and quilt together, work on various sewing projects, service projects that help others, but also give them an opportunity to use their talents and spend the day together visiting. They have lunch in the midst of their time. Nearly every congregation I've been associated with through my life has had a quilting group. First Christian Church of Glendale, Arizona, where I served as a newly ordained minister in 1995, had a quilting group. The quilters there met every Wednesday, and once a month, their young pastor would come out and sit with the women in the little room where they worked. They had a quilting frame that was left up all the time, and every week they came and made slow and patient progress, making few more stitches as they hand quilted a beautiful piece. Once a month, they would let their pastor come and sit with them, and I would put in my few careful stitches. I know sometimes after I left, they probably took them out and redid them. But they enjoyed having me there, and we'd sit and visit. I'd quilt with them for a little while, and then I'd walk down the street to Taco Bell with their order in hand and pick up a bag full of burritos or tacos or whatever the ladies wanted and come back to church, and we'd eat together. Usually they just brought a sack lunch, but once a month it was Taco Bell day, and it was my job to walk down the street, pick up the order, and bring it back. All these years later, I remember the fellowship that we shared. And Charles and I have a quilt that those ladies made for us as a wedding gift. There's another quilt in our home. That was a gift from quilters at First Christian Church in Casper, Wyoming, where I served before moving to Portland. Each of the quilts in our home, some made by our mothers and some made by church women, each of the quilts include different pieces of fabric laid out carefully to form a pattern, and then hand stitches, one at a time, little tiny stitches, binding fabric together and making a design. Today I was at church. I'm going to the office about one day a week now. Officially, downtown Portland will open up on Friday, and some businesses are resuming work on site while others still have their employees working at home. At First Christian Church, we're doing some of both. Our bookkeeper is on site, but our administrative secretary and I are both working remotely most of the time. It was the first day that Mary Ann and I were both back in the office at the same time. It was interesting to be there together, do something that just felt a little bit normal. On the way home, I was listening to an autobiography of one of the members of our congregation, recorded in an interview with the Oral History Project team. And this person was talking about her love for knitting and how she'd often take knitting with her to a church meeting. She said, that way every meeting is always productive. Something good comes out of it, no matter what. It was a wonderful statement. And I can picture her still knitting prayer shawls while church work unfolds. It made me think of Psalm 139. Verse 13 says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." It's an interesting verse. Psalm 139:13. Basically, it's calling God a knitter. God knits us together. Or maybe crochets us. If you ever look at an image of the strands of human DNA, it seems like something someone who crochets might create. Interlocking pieces. If God is a knitter, or one who crochets, or perhaps a quilter, I wonder, even with all the perfect planning of God's design, I wonder, are there ever times that the Lord backs up and takes out a few stitches? Right now, with protests happening in the midst of a pandemic, it seems a good time for us to evaluate the stitches in the fabric of society. There may be some pieces of structure that need to be dismantled, removed, reworked. Even the best quilter will at times disassemble one block to put in a better color or a new piece that fits right. The best knitters, the best crocheters, there are times that they take out their stitches and rework them. It's not a surprise, then, that in society, humanity has through the years misconstructed some of what binds us together. God knits us together in wondrous diversity with beautiful, loving care. Let's get the design right. Let's follow God's design, God's plan, for a world that honors the justice and dignity every person deserves. Let's make sure there is room in the quilted fabric of society for every color and every person. What a beautiful and wondrous design for the world God has made and is making. May you have peace this night, my friends, as we ponder together what needs to be reworked in the world, and join God in quilting or crocheting a new fabric for life, one that blankets all with love and justice. Amen.